I'm Kronicz, and this is Mocha Bane from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your Raw review for June 24th, 2013. Well, it wasn't exciting as it was last week. Last week was some show. But we did start off with Daniel Bryan, and he came back and he reintroduced his Yes shirt. And I was excited about that, was you?
I really was. I was very excited to see, him. It kind of caught me off guard for a sec because,
He'd been wearing the no shirt for so long.
No, but yes, we're all getting that Daniel Bryan that we know and love. It seems like he's becoming a face once again.
Which, just good?
It's very good. It's good for ratings, good for TV.
It's good for all of us, but Orton, he comes out and tells them to shut up. They've been having all these matches on SmackDown and this and that. It looks like they're going to be having another one because they start brawling.
Duke it out.
Because they just can't see eye to eye at all. And that's going to be later tonight, and believe it or not, this is the main event. WWE really loves just throwing the same old match at us over and over and over. I don't know why they do that.
Well,
but
with these two guys, it works out because, Orton and Bryan, they mesh very well in the ring. They're two very talented wrestlers.
Very different. I would never expect them to have a good match, but they even proved it tonight, but we'll get to that. Now we got Brad Maddox and Vicky Guerrero. Now, on Brad Maddox, I don't know why he's not wrestling. He's just kind of doing this thing. He was even commentating on NXT, which was terrible.
Awful commentator for one. I mean, I like Brad Maddox. He's an articulate guy. He's a smart guy. But it seems like they try to make him into something he's not. I think he's probably a better wrestler and a promo cutter than a commentator. I mean, you just released Matt Striker. Why? I don't know. One of the best commentators in the company to me, but you cannot replace him with Brad Maddox.
Or replace William Regal. Because, he was too hurt to be on there on commentary, so.
Awful move. But he's a decent wrestler. I've watched some of his old footage in FCW when he tag teamed with Briley Pierce, who is also the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler.
Who got released recently, right?
That he did. That was a big shock to everyone in the organization. But, Brad Maddox, I think that he's a good, lackey type character, or at least make him a manager of a stable.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. He's there to be a wrestler. If you're not going to make him a wrestler, for God's sakes, no commentary. Give a manager. That's an easy transition, I think. Going to commentary is totally different world. Not everybody can do it. Sure, wrestlers have done it, and they can be good at it, but you can put Brad Maddox at a test for 10 seconds and see if he's good at commentary or not, and he wasn't.
Well, on an interesting note, I know WWE recently gave Colt Cabana a tryout. Now, a lot of websites were reporting that it was CM Punk who had arranged the tryout, but WWE actually wanted to bring Colt Cabana in and try him out in a color commentator role.
Well, I mean, he's great on his podcast.
He really is. I like Colt Cabana. Big Colt Cabana fan from the ROH days, IWA Mid-South. WWE dropped the ball with him as Scotty Goldman. He's not Scotty Goldman. He's Colt Cabana.
Yeah, you can't just throw a name at him. We were talking about that during Raw. Throwing names at guys, it makes it very confusing, but, whatever. Alright, so now we have a match. It's Rhodes Scholars versus Sheamus, and who was his tag partner? None other than Christian.
Captain Charisma himself.
I was like, well, I'm not so fond of them being a tag team together, but whatever. They pulled it off. I mean,
they did.
And what's up?
Oh, I think they were. Sorry to cut you off. I think that Christian, they're actually handling his return quite brilliantly.
Brilliantly.
Because, they're not easing him into a feud yet. They're giving him little things to do. He's getting his FaceTime, reconnecting with the crowd. He's going to get a big pop anytime he comes out. But I am kind of waiting to see what they are going to do with him. What's that first major storyline that they're going to thrust him into? It's kind of a wait and see.
It is kind of a wait and see, but I do want to see his frog splash come back because it's unintentionally hilarious to me. I don't know if I ever told you, but I call it the 1.5-star frog splash because it's not very spectacular.
Stick to the kill switch. That's all I'm going to say.
Alright, so now we have a backstage segment. CM Punk's playing on his phone. Vicky Guerrero comes up to him and, she's kind of like, well, what's your problem? And he's like, where is Paul Heyman? And, well, she doesn't know. And his next question is, where is Brock Lesnar? because, you know, there's some dysfunction going on right there in the family right there with the friendship between Paul Heyman and CM Punk. But we're going to get to that later on. Now we have a Divas match. It's Oksana and Caitlyn, and I'm scratching my eyeballs out because I'm like, Oksana's terrible in the ring. I mean, would you agree? She is just bad.
Once again, valet eye candy, not a wrestler. Not every diva on the WWE roster is meant to be a wrestler, and it's obvious that WWE is attempting to challenge the TNA Knockout division, something that they're going to lose on every time, because I've always said it. TNA have women that want to wrestle, that's their passion, where WWE hires, let's say they hire 12 divas, 4 of those women actually want to wrestle. It's in their bloodlines. It's a passion for them to wrestle, while the other half are Hawaiian Tropic models who want to move on to other things. Now, hey, me being me, I like looking at Hawaiian Tropic models. It's not bad, but I don't want to see them wrestling in the ring. Now,
well, hey, in TNA, you can look at Velvet Sky, and she is Hawaiian Tropic model and wrestler all in one.
Yes, she is. And I watched NXT, and they do have several young ladies.
Boy, tell me,
gifted in the ring, great in the ring.
Tell me what you think about Paige.
She's awesome. Also, Charlotte is another good one, the daughter of Ric Flair. She's doing very well. Yes, she is.
I thought she was gone. I hadn't seen her pop up yet. But anyways, the good thing about this match is Oksana didn't have no ring time really at all. She just did a quick roll-up at a distraction because Caitlyn's music was playing, and we're like, well, Caitlyn's already out there, right? It wasn't Caitlyn, but it looked kind of like Caitlyn and what's her name? Melina put together. It was very weird because out comes AJ dressed up as Caitlyn. It was
in a muscle suit.
Yeah.
And it was pretty, you know, AJ Lee is a saving grace of WWE's Divas division.
Oh,
she's
yes.
putting it on her back, and she is bringing it back because AJ Lee is the total package. She can talk, she can wrestle, she looks good. I think that they're making the right move with putting that championship belt on AJ Lee.
And AJ actually has to hold it on herself. I don't know if you noticed that on NXT or on SmackDown, but when she came down the ring, she was holding it because she's so skinny. But anyways, it was good stuff, and she was making fun of her and everything. And then you had Big E Langston coming out, and they like recreated the whole like, "Oh, I'm in love with you" thing. And yeah, oh, it was just funny. And she made fun of the Adam's apple, allegedly, of Caitlyn. But Caitlyn, she's pretty big ladies compared to AJ over
she's
there.
pretty muscular. She reminds me of like a baby Beth Phoenix.
Baby Beth Phoenix.
I mean, to me, that's just what I get out of it.
But I'm excited to see their rivalry continue. It's going to be happening at this pay-per-view coming up, Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Shaping up to be a pretty good pay-per-view.
Thumbs up
on
for that.
paper.
And thumbs up for AJ for pulling off that segment. And Big E Langston. I didn't think when I saw that guy he would be funny, but the dude is
Dude's
funny.
entertaining. Like, he's entertaining.
Speaking of entertaining, he never fails us. Now we got Chris Jericho versus Del Rio. Chris Jericho was awesome. Unfortunately, it was a bad camera angle during this match where they did a kick in the corner, and it was just like totally seeing the arm, catching it and everything. But they ended up having a good match until a disqualification because of dude comes in with the bucket. What's his name?
Ricardo Rodriguez comes in with
you
the
showed me the flip that the dude did. I didn't know he could flip like that.
Yes.
Like from NXT
Ricardo
or something?
Rodriguez is a really good wrestler. He was a Shamira and some of the promotions out in California. I'm not sure which one. Maybe some of you guys out there, YouTube land.
Oh, they always know.
Oh yeah, they do. Smart viewers. But he has, and I mean, they actually did a lot with him in developmental. He was the leader of a stable called the Ascension with Conor O'Brien. Also Raquel Diaz, who is the daughter of Eddie and Vicky Guerrero, and it was someone else, I believe, Kenneth Cameron. But he, does really good work on the microphone, and he is a really good wrestler. Why they don't let him show some of his in-ring talents?
We don't know.
It's beyond me. I mean, you have seen Cara. You're signing luchadors left and right, trying to really just put an emphasis on the light heavyweight division. Man, put a mask on the man, let him go.
Let him go, and he could still do his other gimmick too, because no one would.
Gimmicks.
We wouldn't know because they had two Sin Caras at one time.
Yes, they did.
And all right, so now we have Dolph Ziggler come down after that DQ and attack Del Rio, and then Chris Jericho starts going off and staring off at Dolph Ziggler. So it looks like they got a little thing going on. I say thumbs up to that too.
I do too.
So we were all excited about that. Now we have Maddox and Vicky Guerrero, Triple H. They're like, we're going to have a match tonight, and we're going to put Brad Maddox in a match with Daniel Bryan. And that was like what they were originally going to do, but then they're like, no, Triple H is being a face, being like, no, we really want to see Daniel Bryan and Orton. And I was like, huh? The people get to vote on what the match is later in the night. Alright, so now they unveil the WWE 2K14 cover. I thought it was going to be The Rock. They had already said it was going to be The Rock, but apparently not, because they show us it's going to be Vince and Stephanie and Triple H according to Vicky Guerrero. Brad Maddox shows a cover with himself, which was funny.
Yep.
And then they reveal that it really is The Rock, and then we're like, already. And you actually watched the trailer to this game.
Yeah, found a trailer on the website. Looks pretty cool. October, can't wait.
Yeah, probably going to buy it. Most
Yeah,
definitely. So now we have this match with Ryback and Khali. I wasn't excited about this match because I didn't think that there was any way possible that Ryback could pick up Khali, but he did. And he slammed him, so he's coming back looking impressive. He got demolished in that ambulance match. I thought it was going to kill his career or something, right? But no. He came back, and he's back on the upswing. Coming back, I guess, for that championship. John Cena cuts a typical WWE promo on his title, which is good and everything. Yeah. But unfortunately, it was what it was, I guess.
John Cena.
Tons of Funk versus
the Usos and 3MB triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Tag Team Championship.
I saw them come out, the 3MB, but I didn't even see them during the match. I don't know what I was paying attention to. But the Usos came out, they looked impressive, and they won. So now they're the new number one contenders. Where's the primetime players?
I know, right? What happened to them being in the mix?
Man, they killed their momentum there. Now, yeah. Paul Heyman, he's got this promo with CM Punk. Because CM Punk is all upset about what happened to him because Paul Heyman should have been in control of his boy Brock Lesnar. He came out there and he beat him up, but Paul Heyman's like, look, man, I didn't have any control over this. You're my best friend and everything, and he's just a client. I don't know what happened. I didn't even know he was in the building. And Punk was like, look, you had to be in control of this and everything, but he was losing a little bit of faith. But Paul Heyman, being the master on the mic that he is,
master manipulator.
Yeah, exactly. He swayed it back and was like, look, they didn't believe in me when I came out and said that CM Punk is going to be the future of WWE. They didn't listen to me, but they were wrong. And you need to listen to me now. I didn't know what was going on. And he tells Punk that he loves him. He loves CM Punk, and then they gingerly hug together.
Yeah. Good emotional stuff, man.
It's very touching indeed. So now we have the most random match I could possibly imagine. If you put WWE 13 on random and did it 100 times, you wouldn't come up with this match. It was Darren Young versus CM Punk.
Yep.
Why are the primetime players not in the number one contendership match for the tag titles?
Not in tag matches, but in singles matches where one is kind of the manager.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it ended with Punk getting the win via submission with the Anaconda Vice, but Darren Young tapped out before Punk even had the hold locked in, so I don't know if it was a botch or what.
Yeah, maybe he was just so scared. Once he gets that move in, it's going to hurt, so he starts tapping.
He just taps out before he locks it in.
And then Titus O'Neil starts beating up CM Punk, and this brings out Curtis Axel. And Curtis Axel starts beating up the primetime players, and CM Punk is looking all confused.
Yep, I mean, Paul Heyman said it best. If I was getting jumped by two people in the street, wouldn't you not want somebody to come help you? But apparently, CM Punk got pretty pissed off that Curtis Axel stuck his nose in his business.
And yeah, and it was really random, because I was looking at this, and I was like, what is going on? The most random match ending in the most random way possible, and then I realized, oh yeah, Curtis Axel's a Paul Heyman guy, and Paul Heyman, he's almost like he's got too many people, because it's causing problems, with each other and everything, and I thought that was kind of actually an interesting dynamic. Now, Vicky Guerrero yells at Brad Maddox while he's on the phone, like, where's my coffee and whatnot. Stephanie comes in with her extra manly voice and says that she's going to announce the Money in the Bank participants.
Exciting.
Very excited, because we're like, all right, we've been waiting. We know Rob Van Dam's in there, but who else is going to be in there? It's going to be CM Punk, is going to be Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Christian, Kane, and RVD. So this is something you brought up. Are they going to have a SmackDown Money in the Bank?
Would you really need to with such a star-studded roster for your Money in the Bank? And so I'm thinking they're going to come up with a stipulation where the winner could go whichever title that he wanted to.
See, that's true, because that's the thing, because it's like, since the roster's together, there's no reason at all to have a SmackDown and a Raw. You already have SmackDown guys, technically SmackDown guys like Orton and everything in it, and Christian I think is a SmackDown guy. So it looks like that's completely done. Some interesting dynamics about the Money in the Bank this year is you got Kane and Daniel Bryan, who have been having problems with each other in the match. So I fully expect a choke slam done to Daniel Bryan, and you got Rob Van Dam in there, which is going to be awesome. And, you know, Orton and all of them guys. But one thing about this match I think is going to stand out about other Money in the Banks is I don't really see a lot of people taking a bunch of big crazy bumps like we've seen in the past. Because, I mean, you have older guys and people who don't really take those kind of bumps.
Yeah, I can see RVD doing
like
one of the bumps. Yeah, I mean,
but not like in the past.
Yeah, it's not going to be like at
boom, 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 boom.
like at I think which ECW pay-per-view was it? I think it might have been not Barely Legal, but like maybe November to Remember, or one of those where Rob Van Dam faced off against Bam Bam Bigelow and does like a suicide plancha from the turnbuckle all the way to the third row of the crowd.
No,
probably won't happen anymore.
But I'm interested to see that. Ryback is not in the Money in the Bank. He's upset. Chris Jericho's not in the Money in the Bank. He came up with the idea. He's been in more than anybody else, and he's upset because he's not in it. And he calls him Mr. Back. Does Chris Jericho, and that was funny.
Actually, this just came to me. The RVD thing was Hardcore Heaven 98. Check it out on YouTube. It's awesome.
Ryback versus Chris Jericho, gonna happen at Money in the Bank. So that's putting some, I'm thinking, man, Money in the Bank might be something we want to see.
Looking forward to it.
Alright, so Mark Henry comes out, he's like, look, I fooled y'all, I made y'all cry, I saw y'all cry, and I was like, you did fool me, and I did have a little tear in my eye there. And he's coming home for sure, he's coming home with that WWE title, and I'm like, man, I gotta see this. So now we have the main event, and it's Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton in a street fight as we run out of time because Crystal left us with the crappy camera. I'm so sorry. But kendo sticks. We see a powerbomb through a table to Orton. I couldn't believe my eyes. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. A T-bone.
Crazy.
T-bone into a table, which didn't really break, but it was still cool to see. But there was like kendo sticks flying around. You got Orton in the submission, and he like fights back with the kendo stick. But then that kendo stick ends up costing Orton ultimately in the end, as he's got that yes lock. He's got it against Orton's head, and he makes the man tap out. And I was like, Orton tapped out in the main event of Raw. I couldn't believe it. But Raw, it was pretty good. It wasn't as exciting and as stacked and flowing as good as last week's Raw, but I liked it, and that last match was pretty hardcore for 2013 WWE, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's a good step in the right direction where WWE wants to go for the summer as they continue to build up to SummerSlam. I'm actually excited for Money in the Bank. Good.
And this match, after it was over, ended with a handshake. Could you believe it? You thought Orton was going to turn heel, didn't you?
Yes, and once again, I have to wait another week to see the Blandy Orton heel turn.
Blandy Orton.
Bland as a face, better as a heel.
Ain't gonna happen, but the handshake happened, and Money in the Bank is coming up soon.